All right, good afternoon, everybody. Appreciate you jumping on here. We're going to kind of switch things up on this Monday. Instead of doing our Business Builders Live, where we talk about the business of leather, we're actually going to go ahead and get to some of the actual leather work here. So please don't mind this cord hanging here. That is actually just my mic cord. Having a little disagreement with the wireless, so we are just going wired to make sure you guys can hear us good. But what I'm starting with here is a fresh side of Herman Oak Leather. Now the way we're kind of sitting here, I'm going to slide this hide so you can see the whole thing. We got to have a plan when you go to cut into your hide, right? We don't want to just go cutting things in without any sort of a plan, because you're going to wind up with a lot of waste that way. And we want to minimize the waste because leather costs money, and that's your bottom line in your business, right? Money that you put into there, so we want to get the most out of it. But down here, this rounded in, that's going to be the butt of the hide. Now one of your sides of that hide is going to be relatively straight. Now it's not all the way straight, but it is a cut down the back. So you know that is going to be the back of the hide, and then it's going to come up and get narrower up here. Now that's coming up into the neck of the hide. When you get down closer down in here, that's wrapping down towards the belly of that animal, and understanding which part of the hide you're cutting out makes a big difference, because your leather's going to act a little bit different. We get up in the neck, it's going to be really good thick leather, but oops, my wires getting tight there. Really good thick leather, but as we get down into that belly, that's going to get just a little bit thinner. It's also going to have a lot more stretch to it and give. So if you're looking at molding things, that might be something that you want to do, or if you want to thin that down and use that as a liner, really good as well. But when you're talking about tooling leather and stuff, when you get down into where it's real flanky, which we can kind of look at the back of that, you can see where that texture changes on the back. That's going to help show you where it's a lot more fuzzy down there at the bottom. It's getting into that flankier belly leather, excuse me, and have a lot of stretching. When you're going to tool that, it'll be really mushy and not want to take your imprints as well. So up here across the back though is really, really nice leather, minimal stretch, very durable. So when we talk about like your strap leather goods, in this case belts, what I'm doing is cutting out belt blanks. I like coming from the butt of the hide and off the back to get my belt blanks. So any belt blanks that we do, like if you were just to jump online on the link there and buy a Herman Oak belt blank from me, it's going to be 55 inches. That's going to accommodate most standard size belts. If you need longer than that, you could obviously contact us for a longer one, but that's around about what I do here. So I want to make sure that when I measure off the back of this hide, I want to make sure that the shortest belt blank that I would get, because that's kind of jaggy at the end there, the shortest one would be at least 55 or 56 inches. So I know that I have plenty. And then I'll come down, kind of make a mark here so I can see. Got to get closer, my cord's a little short. Okay, so from here, I'm just going to eyeball right straight across here, and I'll actually cut this hide right across. Okay, so now the shoulder and the neck here, I'm going to set aside, and that'll get used for other projects. If we need to do some spur straps or portfolios, Bible covers, that sort of thing. All really good things right up in here. The other thing is I can also strip off up here in the shoulder shorter things if I wanted to cut a straight line this way and strip off for dog collars or kids belts, smaller strap goods, wither straps, that sort of thing, nose bands for halters. That can all come out of this shoulder and neck really well when we look at what we could use that for. But now, moving on, I'm actually just going to set that all the way to the side here. Now with what we have left, we want to get a nice straight edge on this end. Now there's going to be some of these clamp marks. Those come from the tannery throughout the tanning process, and they clamp that hide there. So that's what those little marks are from. But I'm going to set my straight edge. We're going to get good and clear of those. Make sure I get in where I have really nice leather the whole way. And now with my knife, I'm going to hold that straight edge. Just walk my way down here, getting that cut in. And whatever type of knife you prefer to use, just make sure that you have that blade straight up and down. You don't want to have an undercut, especially off your first one. That could cause you to undercut a whole bunch of them there. Go through and make sure this cut goes all the way through. All right, now this piece here that we just cut off, that's not necessarily scrap, because if I need some thinner strips, I could come in with a 3/8 strip and have nice belt keepers out of that as well, or any kind of smaller straps that we can get out of there. So still a lot of good leather in that. By coming in far enough to clear those clamps, you have lots of room in between there to still utilize that leather. Now with a good straight edge on here, I can use my strap cutter, make sure we're set where I want that. I'm going to cut an 1.5 belt blank here. I can make sure that's hanging off of the table, because I don't want to run into the table with my strap cutter, and that could foul up your cut. Sometimes on the end it takes a second to get that started. There we go. We got a nice, clean, straight belt blank. And we can get that cut to length and ready to ship out. Plenty of room there. So again, that one there, it's actually going to be for a customer order. That's ready to ship out as is. We'll get some other ones cut up here and be ready to take those over to the bench and start tooling. So I hope this was helpful. Any other questions you guys have, let me know. Love to answer those, whether that's through text or if a question's one that kind of leads to another video, we can get other videos going as well. But appreciate you guys being on here, taking time to watch, and let me know what we can do as we move forward here. Love to start adding some more tutorials in here to really help you out on the actual leather working side as well as the business side. So take care. We will see you on the next one.